Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning and welcome. It's Nurse Richard the Wax Wizard. Thank you for joining me. In this episode you're going to see an example, it's not too severe an example of surface ear. And you're probably wondering what that is. Also in the title it's called American surface ear. That's not a particular variant of the condition itself. The gentleman in question whose ear this is was an American gentleman. He didn't fly over just to see me. I believe he lived over here. I do get some people travel a fair distance, but not from abroad. I wouldn't suggest anybody does that. I'm sure there's going to be somebody near you, wherever you're watching in the world, who can do it. You don't need to spend all the money to come over here and see me. But yeah, there's an American gentleman lived over here. Had quite a nasty impaction. In both ears. This one was the easier of the two, as you'll see. And when it comes out, as you've just seen it doing here, you'll see he's got you call exostosis surface ear, is more commonly known as. Now it's not too pronounced; it's quite mild, and that's that bump there that you can see. Now, how do you get that? Surface ear is a response to cold water exposure or repeated cold water exposure. Where you can get these bony growths where the ear canal can actually become a bit narrower. Like I said, it's not too severe that. And I did ask him when I spotted that, I said, have you got a history of cold water swimming or surfing? And he said, all of the above, he said. Now it does depend obviously on the temperature of the water. If you're in a warmer climate, it's less likely to get it because the sea temperature will be a little bit warmer. I did see a study once about there is quite a big surfing community in the south-west of England, in Devon and Cornwall, beautiful part of the country. And apparently they did a survey or a study on all the surfers there and found that 61% of them had some degree of surface ear, these bony growths in their ear. Not surprising really, because the Atlantic Ocean is very cold. That's this ocean that's nearest to me as well. I've been in it a few times. It's not quite as cold as the North Sea. I've been in that as well, up in Scotland. But yeah, it's pretty cold. So obviously those in warmer climates are not as likely to get it. The other one, as you can see here, I've already put some oil in it. Bit trickier, this one. Quite a bit more impacted and very difficult to remove. What have I got to tell you? There's a few things I just wanted to, not necessarily address, but I get lots of comments, as you know. Most of them lovely, and I do get a lot of people signing off their comments with ta-ta, or ta-ta for now, because they think that's what I'm saying, but that's not actually what I'm saying. I'm saying ta-ra. And I thought I'll look into this, look into the origins of these things, because I had nothing better to do. And I like knowing things, as do probably you guys. So I did look into it. Now, it's a bit difficult to know where it came from. Ta, we all know, is used as a word for thank you over here in the UK. It's probably more commonly used in the north of England than it is anywhere else. We tend to have a lot more slang words and abbreviations. We're just a bit lazier with our language than the rest of the country. And so yeah, we think it comes from like a toddler speak, baby speak, not fully able to say thank you, so we'll say ta. We think that ta-ta, which is used to say goodbye, is a derivative of that. Now, we think that it comes from, there was a BBC radio show, I want to say in the 40s, and there was a character called Mrs. Mop, and that's the earliest recorded time that somebody has said ta-ta or ta-ta for now, or TTFN. I believe ta-ta or tatters or taters often means something else as well. So it's not talking about that. But it's not actually what I'm saying tra. Sometimes we miss out the A and just say tra, or tra for now. Why ended up as tra in the north of England, I'm not entirely sure why. There is some that think it's a derivative of a Welsh phrase, particularly in the north of Wales, because we're quite close to the North Wales where I am. It's only like 45 minutes away from North Wales here. So that's possible as well. But yeah, it's not Tatar, I say, it's Tara or Tra. Tra for now. And yeah, it led me to looking into a few other sayings and what they mean and where they come from. And quite commonly, you'll hear a lot of people, especially, I suppose you would say the posher people, would say things like toodaloo, toodle pip, or toodles. And I thought, where does that come from? And it turns out that toodaloo comes from a French phrase that I believe the soldiers used in the war, which actually is, was it à tout à l'heure, which I think means see you later in French. And so the soldiers changed that to a toodaloo, and then it got the derivatives of toodles, toodle pip, etc. I thought you might be interested in that. You might not be. I don't know. And that's so obviously that only comes from what I usually say at the end of the video, which is tra. But what I say, and I get people asking me this: why do you say what you say at the beginning of each video, which is hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning? The reason why I say this, I don't know what time of day you're watching this, because people watch from all over the world, which still baffles me, to be honest with you. I think the most common location that people watch me from is in the US, but there's quite a lot in the Far East, in Japan, in Indonesia, Singapore, quite popular over there for some reason. I've no idea why. Hello to anybody who's watching over there. And so, yeah, I don't know what time of day you're watching this, so I want to cater to everybody, and that's why I include all of them. But someone did ask once, does it come from the Truman Show? Because I know he said something similar, didn't he? In case I don't see you, I'll see you see you later. I don't know the exact same, but you remember what I mean, the Truman Show. Great film, that. And it doesn't come from that. No, it actually comes from, there's a couple of cheeky chappies called Ant and Dec, who are TV presenters over here from Newcastle, from Geordieland, way up there in the northeast. YI fellas. I know they will be watching, but anyone who's watching in the northeast, YI. And when they do a show called I'm a Celebrity, where they make people eat bugs and jungle critters, it's horrible. But because they do it from Australia, they say good morning first, but when we're watching it, because it's live, they say good evening. So they say good morning, good evening. And I thought, that's a good idea. If people are watching it from different parts of the world, say good morning and good evening. I added in a good afternoon as well, just in case there's anybody in between. So that's where that comes from, if you were always wondering. So now you know. Now, as usual, I've not been talking about the procedure here. This, like I said, I've already explained what surface ear is, and there's only so much you can say about me pulling earwax out of somebody's ear. So if you've not watched the channel before, we do like to talk about some other stuff sometimes, just to make it more interesting for you guys and me. It has been a battle this second ear, as you've probably seen. Quite a few tangled up hairs in there. It's probably what made it tricky as well to get out. We did have very mild beginnings of some surface ear in this, so you can just see that on the right hand side. Not enough to cause any trouble at all. But it was certainly very relieved when these things both came out, could hear a lot better. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. But for now, I'll see you later. Tra.